Thank you all for joining me. How's your day going aside from answering the same questions over and over and over again?
Fantastic, man. It's great to be here.
Well, I'll first throw it at Kyle. Kyle, where was this movie filmed and when did you actually wrap it?
The movie was shot pretty much in different places in Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Shawnee, Yukon, sort of central Oklahoma. I guess we started shooting the movie in October of 2020. We officially, I guess, wrapped, I guess, the beginning of November, but then we did a couple of pickup shot days in probably like April or May of 2021. And that would have been the end of the shoot then. Yeah.
I definitely am going to have some Oklahoma questions, but Hayley, how did you wind up in this project? Because you have extensive credits of film and television roles. Was it a traditional audition, or did you know Kyle, or how did this happen?
I didn't know Kyle initially. I'm from Oklahoma and had just filmed a movie in January of 2020, like right before everything shut down, called Agnes. And one of the producers from Agnes, Jacob's novel, was working with Kyle and got me involved.
Mm-hmm. Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Adam, same question at you. Do you have Oklahoma roots as well?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm still a resident here, out here in God's country. And I had worked with Kyle on a 48-hour video race. And we had met at a film festival a few years back, had kind of been kicking ideas around on how to work together. And he wrote this bombshell of a script.
Got it. Kyle, I said more Oklahoma questions. And I'd say about a year and a half before the pandemic, I had the pleasure of going to Tulsa. And that's where they showed me that Danny Boy O'Connor has that outsider's house in his possession. So I'm assuming he also continues that Oklahoma trend.
Yes, sir, he does. Yeah.
And I'm currently watching the show Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone, which is another Oklahoma show. So I guess my next question, I'll throw it at Hayley. When did you notice that Oklahoma is becoming this big hotbed of film and television projects?
I mean, probably a couple. I mean, it's been going on for a long, like, since before I got involved, but I feel so lucky to have been kind of welcomed back in this way and like allowed it. Like, there are so many talented filmmakers in Oklahoma, and I didn't really get to meet any of them until 2020. But it's been really awesome to see the film community grow there the way it has. It's really neat.
Yeah.
It's been happening for a while, I guess, for a long time. But it wasn't until like 2017, 2018 where independent film started really ramping up around here. And then I guess in 2020, 2019, whenever Scorsese was bringing Killers of the Flower Moon here, it's when the rebate cap got lifted. And so it allowed a lot more other films, independent films, to come here and shoot and be a part of the rebate program.
Got it. Adam, had you met Jake the Snake Roberts before being part of this production?
No, unfortunately, and I'm ashamed to say I've yet to meet the man. I can't wait to see him at the screening this weekend. But I'm pumped. I'm an old school wrestling fan, so I'm gonna beg him to give me a DDT, I think.
Kyle, I've had the pleasure of speaking with Jake a few times. He's always been really nice to me, and it's very obvious the man knows how to act, because the real human being is not the character, to say the least. How did you know that Jake should be in this film?
Just like I mentioned in the last interview, Jake was sort of a last minute shift. We had another actor, and I cannot remember who it was. Someone's in that sort of similar ilk, but because of COVID, there were certain restrictions on a lot of things, and for people traveling and whatnot. And at that time, Jake was living in Thackerville, Oklahoma, which is a couple hours south of where we were filming. And a producing attorney partner on the film. We were sitting on set one day, and we had lost this actor, and they're like, "What are we going to do? How do we pivot?" And he's like, "Well, there's Jake the Snake. He lives in Oklahoma, and it lends itself to the rebate. Maybe he comes up and does it." And then the day we were supposed to shoot, this huge ice storm, freak ice storm happens and literally shuts down highways and stuff. And to Jake's credit, he still drove up from Thackerville to do the scene. And what's funny is when he got there and we were discussing sort of we want to just kind of jump right into the scene. We were discussing and we both came to the conclusion that we could not have him walk into this theater like he owned the place, right? Like a wrestling venue, right? So we did that. We didn't know if we were going to keep it in the cut, but it was just too good. We had to keep it. So
I hear that. Hayley, can you say a highlight related to this film, personal or professional? Mind sharing that?
Oh, sure. I think the thing that stood out the most for me was we shot this during the pandemic, and so a lot of time, like aside from a couple, we had a couple meetings, the three of us, to kind of discuss like our characters and where we're coming from and everything. But the prep was mostly done individually, and so I was only there for like a couple short days because we were like in the pandemic, and so we kind of had to consolidate my scenes as much as possible.
Right.
And so like a lot of the prep was done alone, and so coming together with Adam, really it felt more like I don't know, I didn't know what to expect, kind of, because there wasn't the traditional rehearsal process. And so like there was this like Gabe and Dawn would have really felt that way, kind of coming together after like not having seen each other for decades. And so it felt and I didn't know what to expect, like what kind of, I couldn't have prepared myself for like as much like vulnerability Adam came at me with, and it really affected me emotionally. And that I think was like maybe the most like exciting and unexpected and cool part of shooting this. It really like felt electric to me.
Yeah, kudos to everyone involved in this, because in the early days of the pandemic, the rules are being rewritten on a daily or a weekly basis. But furthermore, all the things like hanging around a set for months and chemistry reads, all that was out the window. So again, everyone had to figure out a way to feel close to the project and close to one another. So my last question for everybody, and we'll start with Adam first, is what's next? Are you allowed to say, or are you under deadline.com and Hollywood Reporter embargoes and you can't say?
Yeah, I'm the new James Bond. Go ahead and put it out now. They wanted to go with an Okie for that. Well, a couple of projects are on the horizon. I think Kyle, I can talk about Unbound, I hope. Yeah, Kyle and I are working on another film that he can kind of go on about, but definitely got some other stuff cooking, and it's an exciting time to be a filmmaker in Oklahoma, and I think we've got a lot of stories to tell here, so it's a real honor to be a part of this film.
Do you mind?
And Hayley, I love you. You are so sweet.
Do you mind adding to that one, Kyle, what you're allowed to say about this new project that has Adam in it?
Yeah, sure. It's a script I wrote and I'm directing, and my company Safe House Films is producing, which also produced out of Exile. It's called The Unbound. It's very ambitious. It's I guess some similar film comps would be maybe The Revenant meets Apocalypto in some ways. That's something we're doing later this year. We started training on that already. Getting the guys to go through like extensive sort of like 18th century weapons, with muskets and stuff like that. And sort of the Native American cast is going through a Lenape language course, and they're learning how to speak different languages. And we're designing wardrobe, we're building that stuff now. It's been a lot of fun to explore that. There's a lot of stuff with Safe House, my production company, and which is, I also have partners with Jacob Snovel and Matt Moulton. And there's a couple things I've written that are getting made this year. I did drafts of the new Jim Thorpe movie that's being filmed this year, and Wind River 2. And so there's a lot of cool things that are happening. And of course, we got some of the projects out that are trying to attach talent right now. and just yeah, like Adam said, it's a good time to be a filmmaker.
So keep checking IMDb so we'll know the status. And Hayley, the last word at you, because again, TV, film, you never know where you are going to pop up. Are you allowed to say what's next?
I'm not sure if I am. Just it hasn't been a little. I just finished shooting a little thing that hopefully we'll get to see soon.
Well, in the meantime, congratulations to you all on Out of Exile, and looking forward to whatever is next.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Darren.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Paltrocast.